iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.
Hi guys, it's Sam from Elvis Duran in the Morning Show and iHeartRadio Broadway, and I'm here with the lovely Katharine McPhee Foster, who is currently Jenna on Broadway in the musical Waitress. So first of all, thank you for taking the time.
Thanks
we appreciate
for having me.
And I kind of am really enjoying this moment because I got to interview you last year in your dressing room when you first were becoming Jenna.
It was in the spring of 2018.
Yes, what was your Broadway debut?
That's right.
So what was it about this character in this musical that made it want to be your Broadway first?
Well, I first went and saw the show, but I was familiar with the music, and I watched the Tonys when Jessie Mueller and Sarah, amazing, and Sarah did a little, Jessie at the end really sold the acting and the story, and I was like, what is this amazing song? And listened to the whole score with Sarah's music, and so I was just really excited at the opportunity to do it, and then seeing the show and the whole cast, it was just
you were sold.
A no-brainer.
Yeah. So up until that point, you've had a fantastic career even without all of this.
Well, thanks.
But you went to college for musical theater.
I did.
So were you really missing the stage?
I've always missed the stage, and I always wanted to do Broadway. I always wanted to make a debut at some point, but I was just waiting for the right show. I didn't want to just step into something just to because I had to do Broadway. I wanted it to be something that I felt like I could do a good job, and that was a part that was really right for me, and Waitress just happened to be that first one, and it's been so great because it's to make your debut, and then probably a lot of viewers maybe know this or not, but I opened the show in London, so I got to make my West End debut.
There's so much packaged into this for you.
Now it's just being able to close the show for such a special show to so many people. I didn't open the show, but I feel like a real part of the family, the Waitress family, and it's been so great working with Diane and Sarah and all the creatives, Jessie, who wrote the book, and so it's an honor for me.
I think that's just absolutely lovely. So what was the feeling? Can you describe what it's like when you found out you got to kind of resurrect your personal Jenna? I imagine that's different from finding out you got the part in the first place.
You mean going to London?
When you came back now in this second run here.
It ties into London because I opening the show, even though I already knew the role, it's I kind of got to start over because I was working with the creatives in a way that I didn't get to work with them when I was being placed into the show.
Okay.
I basically learned the show in 3 weeks when I was being placed in. Not basically, I did. I learned the show in 3 weeks. And I got very little time with the director because that's kind of how it goes. When your show is up and running, you learn from the stage manager, you do your put-in, and you just kind of are off and running, and you get as much feedback from the creatives as they are available. So when it opened in London, it was all the creatives were there for, a specific amount of time, a month amount of time. So I got to have a lot more refined moments, I think, in the character. And so coming back, it feels like my particular performance is more intentional. It
sounds like it was a completely different experience than from the first time.
Well, it was nice. I wouldn't say completely different. I would just say my feeling with the character is a little bit different just because I have more specific things, more information from the creatives and how they, want the overall from the Jenna perspective.
Just dive in more.
It actually felt in some ways really similar because I was going back with mostly the same cast that I started with when I made my debut in 2018.
That's really lovely.
Yeah.
So this is a very easy musical to fall in love with.
It is.
The whole,
I agree.
Right? The whole body of it. And your character in particular, no matter what she experiences, everyone's rooting for her the whole time.
True.
What do you think is it? What quality does Jenna have that made you feel that way about her?
Well, as Dawn says, she's the queen of kindness and goodness, and that I think people can relate to a character that is a really good person and who loves her job and has passion in what she does, and she loves her friends, but she's not in a great relationship, and she feels stuck, and she feels like it's not just a woman's story, but from the woman's perspective, I know a lot of women relate to the idea of feeling like they can't get out of a relationship, that they're not strong enough to do something on their own.
Yeah.
And, you know, that story of a woman finding her own strength and her own power is really, it's kind of a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's infectious.
It's infectious.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yes. No, I remember watching it and feeling like it's not that it was a reflection of my life, but there are just things you wish you were I was looking at a more strong mirror in a way. You know, I kind of was able to put myself in Jenna's shoes in a way. And
Jenna and Jesse Nielsen, who wrote the book, was the one who had said to me, you know, Jenna's an avoider. And if you watch the show, the beginning, she's like, oh, Earl wasn't always like this. He's just, you know, going through a rough time. And she always is like deflecting, you know.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't realize that they do that, right? Like we kind of tend to sort of just put stuff on the back burner.
You give passes to people for specific reasons.
And just sort of waiting for something to change. And in Jenna's case, something does change and something does happen.
Yeah.
But it really forces her to look at her life and go, whoa.
So what is your favorite thing about being part of the Waitress family?
I think it's just doing the shows every night. I mean, I love the people. It's so great. Like in London, I have friends now and over the pond, and I still kept in contact with a lot of the cast that was in the New York production. So when I came back, it was like, oh my God, we've been like Instagram buddies for, you know, it's just like messaging each other throughout the year. So I love the community and the camaraderie and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I really just love doing the show. I mean, I love telling the story. And just when you think, oh gosh, I'm tired, like I won't be able to bring anything new to this scene, like it's going to be tired, whatever, like you'll hear a gasp from an audience member. They're affected by the storytelling, and it kind of just breathes new life into the scene. And, I like kind of live for those moments where you can feel the audience with you.
These relationships it gives you between genuine, you know, people you've worked with and the audience. That sounds wonderful. And do you have any idea what's next for you? Because you're through January 5th, right? Is the end date for Jenna and Waitress?
I do. I'm going to have a busy new year. My husband has this amazing tour that he's doing. Like, if you go online, you can see all these tours. A bunch of dates in California. I think he's doing dates in New York and Florida and some in the middle of the country too. I'm supposed to be on a lot of them, but I actually got a job that starts in February, but like it hasn't been announced and I'm not allowed to announce it. But it's it's a new show, so it will be taking up like about just a few months of my new year.
Okay. So. Oh, exciting.
Yeah.
February.
So I will be.
I'm gonna keep. I don't know.
Well,
when
it won't start.
Coming out.
Yeah, I don't think that you'll see what's in February, but
Okay.
I'll be working in February.
Good to know.
I'll be working all year.
Yeah, you're just one of those people who's always working.
Well,
you
I
just
want
be
to.
a vast different amount of things.
I like to, and I'm grateful that I can. So
excellent. So we are moving on to rapid fire. Just gonna spit out the question. Just hit me back with your answer.
Okay.
What is your favorite moment that has nothing to do with your character on stage of Waitress?
The Ogie and Don scenes are my favorite because I love to see the reaction from the audience.
They're a very cute couple. I do love them. What is your favorite kind of pie?
Blackberry pie. But mostly I'm just a crust girl, so
okay.
If the crust is ever missing and I'm near it, you'll understand why.
Then that's good to know. If you had to survive on 3 Broadway cast albums for the rest of your life, what would they be?
Into the Woods, Waitress.
Yep, that
counts. And Light in Piazza.
You are the third Broadwayer to say that. This cast album is fire. If you don't know Light in the Piazza, you gotta get on that. Amazing.
Beautiful.
What's your favorite fan encounter story?
Well, you know, I go out to stage door. I try to be as consistent. I try to go out every time. There's not, there's some shows where your back is hurting you and your voice, you're like worried about, they're all kind of great. I don't know that I have one that stands out. Or I might, in the cab on the way back home, I'll have one, but...
Something. Well, that's nice. You have too many good ones.
I think it's really special when people, like, write you letters. And
yeah.
I can't read them right in the moment, but I'll take time to read it.
That's just precious, though. What performers did you admire when you were growing up?
Bernadette Peters, Celine Dion. Are you talking about in the Broadway world?
Entertainment, anywhere.
Yeah. I would say Celine, Bernadette Peters for sure.
Powerhouse.
Yeah. Marvin Gaye, of course. Like, I mean, I would not, because I was really young to
Right.
know.
Free Marvin Gaye, but still.
Yeah, but still, like, I was a fan.
And when you come back to Broadway, I'm manifesting, it's going to
Yes.
happen a bunch of times. What are 3 bucket list roles for you?
Well, truthfully, I would hope it's a role that hasn't. I would like to do something original, but I have talked to Barry, the producer of Waitress, about. My dog just.
Oh, you're
whined.
Poppy.
I have talked about reviving Annie Get Your Gun, which I actually did. It was my first like real professional show. It was in a regional show. I don't know if Barry will be like, oh, that wasn't supposed to say it. I don't think.
We'll just bleep this whole thing.
It's fine. About doing that, and it's like, it's a very old-fashioned musical.
Yeah.
But funnily enough, she has an accent just like Jenna.
Perfect. The training will carry.
And it would really need a lot of work because in today's age, it doesn't really make sense. There's a song, "The Girl That I Marry Will da da da." It's like it's not how we as women and men think of women's position in the world.
Right.
But also, we'll see. That would
Okay.
when you ask me one more,
If you have one, that would be great. But
I love it's just like so cliche musical theater fan, but Into the Woods, like
I mean, come on, it's great.
I'd like to be the baker's wife, not gonna lie.
There's no wrong answer for this question, by
Yeah.
the way. Those would be amazing characters. So
either that or Cinderella. It's a little high for me. But
we've got 2 and 1 original, which
Yeah.
we'll all find out together.
Yeah.
Hopefully. It's been amazing. Thank you so much for
Thanks
taking
for
this time
having
with
me.
us. You've got to see this powerhouse in Waitress as Jenna up till January 5th you have. So hurry up.
get your tickets.
Get your tickets. It's at the Brooks Atkinson Theater. And thank you again so much for this time.
Thanks.